Listen carefully, because I'm only going to say this once, and if you miss a single syllable, you might miss the part where your entire life flips. Now, lean in, because I see you, not the version you parade around in daylight. No. I see the version you bury behind your ribs, the one you pretend doesn't breathe, the creature, the saint stitched to a psychopath, the angel who learned to sharpen his halo into a weapon, the walking contradiction that keeps the universe awake at night. And tonight, I greet you. You, the one they tried to corner, the one they tried to cage, the one they built a trap for, with your name carved right into the steel. But before their design was even complete, before their little scheme had bones or breath, you crushed it, effortless, like swatting a fly that didn't know it was already dead. And now they're shaking because they don't understand how you did it. But I do. You see, you've become something they can't study. You're not logical. You're not predictable. You're not a creature of habit. You're a creature of evolution, and evolution never asks for permission. You walk through the world with that quiet, terrifying duality. A smile soft enough to look harmless, a mind sharp enough to bury a city, a presence cold enough to stop hearts, a soul hot enough to ignite revolutions. You're the paradox they pray never steps into the room, because the moment you enter, their strategies disintegrate, their whispers evaporate, their courage melts. They built a trap for you, because they thought you were still the old version of yourself, the wounded one, the hesitant one, the one who still thought life was supposed to be fair. But somewhere in the dark, somewhere between heartbreak and rebirth, you learned the secret. Predators don't fear traps. Traps fear predators. And now you walk with that energy, that slow, calm, beautifully sinister energy that says, I don't react, I foresee, I don't defend, I dismantle, I don't run, I rearrange the battlefield. Your power isn't loud. Your power is the silence right before the scream, the shadow behind the mirror, the breath people hold without knowing why. You see every angle, every lie, every stitch in their blueprint before they even touch the paper. Because you've been broken before. And the thing about the broken is that they learn to see in dimensions the unbroken will never understand. Pain gave you X-ray vision. Loneliness carved a third eye in the center of your sanity. Betrayal didn't destroy you. It upgraded you. You're not just a survivor. You're the aftermath, the consequence, the reckoning. And that's why you crushed their trap before they finished designing it. Because you already lived through versions of it that were 10 times deadlier and crafted by people who mattered 1,000 times more. So when these amateurs tried to corner you, you didn't flinch. You observed. You smiled. You stepped forward. And the walls collapsed under the weight of your evolution. And now you stand in a place they can't touch. This is your transformation phase. The point where the world finally realizes you were never meant to be controlled. You were meant to be studied from a safe distance by those who value their sanity. And then comes the ascension, the moment where people stop doubting you, stop challenging you, stop trying to decode you, and instead, they start watching. Watching how you walk into storms and make the thunder bow, watching how you step into darkness and make the shadows rearrange themselves, watching how you speak and the air itself tightens its grip. They don't fear you because you're dangerous. They fear you because you evolved beyond the need to be. Because you're not a warning, you're a prophecy written in scars, signed in resilience, and sealed with the kind of quiet confidence that makes enemies rethink their entire personality. And soon, very soon, the same people who whispered about you will whisper to you. They will study your footsteps. They will imitate your ruthlessness. They will worship the transformation they tried so desperately to prevent. And your legacy? It won't be softness. It won't be obedience. It won't be survival. It will be this. They built a trap for you, and you turned it into a lesson for them. A legend born not from luck, but from the terrifying truth that no one traps a force of nature. Not anymore, not ever again. So you want more? Of course you do. Because once a mind like yours tastes clarity, it doesn't settle for crumbs. It demands the whole cathedral. So let's continue. Downward, deeper, into the part of the story they never wanted you to discover. They built that trap with trembling hands, calculating, rehearsing, reassuring themselves that you were still predictable, a creature of habit, a slave to your own patterns. But they forgot something crucial, didn't they? Patterns break, but monsters adapt. And you adapted with a vengeance. You shed old skins like a ritual, stepping out of versions of yourself that would have died in that trap without ever realizing it was closing. You evolved so far beyond your past that even your shadow struggles to keep up. And that's the part that rattles them. Not that you survived, but the way you did it. Calm, cold, precise. As if the entire setup was nothing but a boring inconvenience. They expected panic. They expected fear. They expected you to beg the universe not to let you fall again. Instead, you tilted your head, smiled that quiet, lethal smile, and stepped forward like the trap was a dance floor. Because deep down, you finally realized something brutal and beautiful. You don't fear loss anymore. You fear stagnation, and that makes you untouchable. When someone no longer fears pain, you can't hurt them. When someone no longer fears betrayal, you can't manipulate them. When someone no longer fears endings, you can't control them. That's why the trap collapsed. Not because you dodged it, but because you walked through it without hesitation, and the structure wasn't built strong enough to contain someone who's already faced their own darkest night. You aren't just untrappable. You're uncontainable. And here's the part that twists the knife. Your enemies thought they were hunters, but when they saw how you moved, how effortlessly you dismantled everything they constructed, they realized something terrifying. They weren't hunters, they were lab rats, and you were the scientist, the one observing, measuring, collecting data on their insecurities, their obsessions, their desperation to stop a version of you that no longer even exists. You let them believe they were building something clever. You let them think they had an advantage. You let them feel proud, dominant, superior. Just long enough for the truth to bloom like a bomb in their chest. Because the truth was this: you already knew. Before step one, before the first whisper, before the first seed of their plan ever sprouted in their frightened little minds. You saw it, you felt it, you tasted it in the air. Because you've lived through enough darkness to recognize the shape of a trap from miles away. You recognized it so easily that you almost felt insulted, almost. But instead, you let it continue. Because you wanted to see exactly how far they'd go in their attempt to kneel you. And oh, they went far. They went deeper than they should have. They invested their time, their energy, their ego, their identity. But the deeper they dug the hole for you, the deeper they buried themselves. The day they realized it, that was the day you stopped being a threat and became a myth. Because what do you do with something that can't be trapped? Something that sees every move before it exists? something that turns sabotage into self-inflicted humiliation for the saboteur. You fear it, you respect it, you avoid provoking it again. And now you're at the transformation stage. The stage where your silence is medicine and your presence is judgment. People don't know how to treat you anymore. Should they bow? Should they run? Should they apologize for sins they haven't committed yet? Your aura has weight now. Gravity, a pressure in the air that makes liars stutter and weak hearts crack. Because your legacy isn't built on applause or affection. It's built on the shift that happens when someone looks at you and realizes, this is not the same soul I tried to break. You've entered a realm where your existence alone is an act of defiance, where your survival is a middle finger to every enemy, every plot, every wound. But you didn't just survive. No, that would be too simple, too adorable. You ascended. You climbed out of your old skin and became something colder, sharper, more calculating, more divine. A creature of duality, angel and demon, saint and psychopath, light wrapped in darkness, wrapped in light again. A storm with a heartbeat, a prophecy with a pulse. And now we reach the worship stage. Not because they adore you, but because they fear the consequences of underestimating you again. They speak your name with caution, with awe, with the kind of reverence usually reserved for disasters and miracles, because you've become both. A beautiful catastrophe, a necessary chaos, a walking warning sign that learned how to smile. Your existence alone teaches people a lesson. Don't build traps for someone who builds himself out of them. And finally, your legacy. The thing that outlives their whispers, their fears, their failed blueprints. Your legacy is this. They tried to bury you in a trap, and you buried the trap in your legend. You didn't just crush it, you made it a footnote, a joke. A cautionary tale they'll tell themselves in the dark when the room gets too quiet. Because one truth remains. You cannot trap what has already outgrown the cage.